Hey everyone, welcome. True simultaneity. Navigating all layers. Transcending paradox. It's very much like Joseph and the coat of many colors. Like synthesis consciousness, chameleon consciousness. All 8 billion hermeneutics of truth at once. True simultaneity is the ability to fluidly navigate all of these layers like a Jedi. Wu-wei, effortless action. All 8 billion people are at different stages. Many are in egoic, contracted, separate entity levels of consciousness. Some are tasting oneness on their journey of seeking and finding, piercing the veil, self/God realizing. And very few have completely pierced that veil and then have recognized the true dream-like, illusion-like, non-dual, indescribable perfection of the absolute of what this is. So how can we unpack here to be an absolute Jedi at navigating all these layers? Well, we'll start with non-duality. This is it. The closest we can describe it, like Lao Tzu said, the eternal Tao. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. Meaning every single time that you aim to put words around what is non-duality, they fall short. So what we do is we do our best to gently and lovingly point to it. Many different faces and paths to the same one peak. In essence, this is already whole. This is already absolute unconditional love and freedom. This is completely perfect. This is a dream. This is an illusion. This is a mystery. This is an appearance. A very childlike, innocent wonder, awe, bliss, peace is the typical measurement of one's non-duality. How present in the simple now? Are you? This eternal presence. And in very many ways, the easiest way to also describe it is saying some things like, I thought I was a person, then there was nothing left. I've talked about this quite a bit on the program. I used to be Alan Sakyan. Then I was Atlas. And now there's just no layers of identity at all. Zero. None. Not even the non-dual awareness. You transcend even the observer, even the witness, even that very I amness. You transcend even that. Agentless, attributeless, metaphysical, zero. And now the simultaneity kicks in quite a bit here because, well, how does Atlas navigate his daily activities? Well, that exact way. We do this concession into the realm of duality. Again, this true simultaneity being key. So that when there is a inquiry, hey Atlas, will you bring this microphone over there? The response is, yeah, not a problem. So you can navigate all the layers. So you can drop into your quote name. You can drop into the quote form. And into time. Will you meet me at 3 p.m.? And also into paths. Meaning with seeking and finding, there are actually optimal paths up the faces of the mountain to the one end. And the classical spending 30 years at a monastery is in very many ways over. There are many direct path teachings that help people with very simple pointing out that enables people to shed their layers of identity to a non-dual awareness and then to become even agentless and attributeless. This is why it's really, in the non-dual perspective, it's a joke and even called spiritual lollipops to separate things into seeking and finding. As in the quote, there's nothing to seek, or only those who are truly ignorant seek what is already there. As in, the indescribable perfection is already this happening, this appearing. This is it. Already. Unconditional. So only a fool would go on some journey to seek and find something. So, yet we recognize that egoic levels of consciousness that are a separate entity have this true impulse, this true desire, which is to dissolve the contracted sugar cube of the separate entity, ego, into the hot tea of infinity. And so to deny that is not simultaneity. True simultaneity is the ability to hold the absolute non-dual while simultaneously acknowledging the fact that there is a seeking and a finding in terms of piercing the veil, egoic consciousness dissolving into the hot tea of infinity. And the more that we undergo this God or self-realization process, this is the best service that we can actually render humanity. So again, as much as it's a dream and that it's an illusion and that it's an appearance and we can just be childlike wonder and bliss and awe, at the same time, we recognize that egoic consciousness in the positions of greatest power across our planet is likely the most upstream malady that we face. So again, can you hold both? Yes. Dream, yes. Illusion, yes. While simultaneously holding egoic consciousness in positions of leadership is the greatest upstream malady. And you got to be really careful to not fall into the cycle of spiritual lollipops in the sense of a continuous process of incessant seeking. So there's a balance, again, between optimal paths to pierce the veil, to self-realize, and an incessant amount of seeking what you already have, which is the definition of ignorance. So the diamond necklace is already around your neck, yet it is up to you to recognize it. And similarly, this duality of suffering and well-being is important to understand. Again, the non-dual perspective is that everything's absolute, indescribable perfection, and there is no suffering, there is no well-being. Yet at the same time, the dual perspective of there is suffering and there is well-being, we can simultaneously hold that. This is what truly makes us like Joseph in the coat of many colors. This is what makes us truly like a chameleon or like a synthesis level consciousness. So in this case, it would be something like the recognition that egoic levels of consciousness in the positions of greatest leadership around our planet is our most upstream malady. The recognition that catalyzing a lot of valence or qualia of suffering is something that would be ideal to move towards well-being. No matter how non-dual you are, in a sense, to see one person that's in severe pain, that's crunched over in a ball, weeping on the ground due to severe physical, psychological pain, and another person that is blissed out and peaced out standing right next to them, at one point in a non-dual perspective, it's absolute dream and illusion, and in another perspective, the dual perspective, it is, well, let's do our best right now to heal the physical and psychological pain of the person that is currently experiencing that state of valence, state of qualia. Because if that was you in that position or me in that position, it would be great to have people that cared to help alleviate that valence, that qualia of suffering. As much as we can bask in the glory that, this is a complete illusion, ow, ow, ow. At the same time, it's great to have the alleviation of that suffering. And this is where we can also get into the trap of entrepreneurial lollipops with civilizational architectures. As in, I'm going to spend 80 hours a week, every single week, on building the future. I'm going to build the future of decentralization infrastructures and build the future of all of the sustainable energy, build the future of all of the permaculture of farming, build the future of the artificial general intelligence and the bio and neurotechnologies and the virtual realities. I'm going to spend all of my time on that building, because I care about eradicating suffering and maximizing well-being. So you see how there's also an entrepreneurial lollipop there as well. Now, if that's the way that the wind moves the realized person, then that's the way the wind moves the realized person. If that person has a ability to have a deep amount of eternal presence as the wind moves them into that process, then that's their unique expression of what this non-dual appearance is. Yet, if the entrepreneurial lollipop, again, we're speaking in a really beneficial way here. We're talking about like building the future of all of these industries to maximize well-being. There are many levels of egoic consciousness that have absolutely no idea what that is. As in, there are people with egoic consciousness in positions of power that are solely trying to drive more conspicuous consumption their way. Greed, materialism, and they have no idea what the inward path is to recognize that diamond necklace already around their neck. So, again, the key to true simultaneity is to recognize that there are all these ways to navigate. The navigation is really the key to simultaneity. How much are you like a chameleon? How much are you like a synthesist? How much can you just be in a state of non-duality, just being present with simply this appearing? Yet, simultaneously, can you recognize when somebody is suffering? And can you not say, it's just a dream or an illusion, but can you literally go and help them? This is where even the dual and the non-dual are, again, transcended. This paradox is transcended by just what is. And that's ultimately what non-duality is, which is why duality is a concession in many ways here. As in non-duality, especially with the tantric path, which means when you weave your enlightenment realizations into the social fabric, or the sahaja samadhi, where you take your enlightenment and you carry it with you in all your daily activities. This is, in another way, is the middle path or the middle way. The Goldilocks zone. Your ability to, again, effortless action wu wei as you pierce the veil and self-realize, which is why that seeking impulse is in fact very important. which is actually what enables you to understand at a deeper level in your essence these non-dual teachings. Somebody can point directly to the top of the mountain, and you can skip all of these layers and levels and paths. Yet when you get there, the idea of the ego will be less dissolved than somebody that has actually taken a little bit more time to go through the practice of dissolving their ego. So we have to understand these types of things. These types of understandings are really helpful because they give us a visualization. This has been really helpful also with putting these different things that we're talking about right now into visuals, which we'll be publishing shortly. I'm looking forward to it because they're really helpful. Again, true simultaneity. Your ability to navigate effortlessly the entirety of what this appearance is. Again, effortlessly, it should make sense that when somebody is seeking, for you to both say that there's nothing to seek because you're already it, the diamond necklace is already around your neck, yet also there are these optimal strategies for you to dissolve the egoic sugar cube of the separate entity into the oceanic infinitude. If you can respond that way to somebody, you are literally at a very high level. If you can, again, know how to respond fluidly across all 8 billion different hermeneutics interpretations of the one truth, from the ego all the way to the non-dual, and you know how to navigate that flawlessly like Joseph in the Coat of Many Colors, again, that's a really high level of that eternal presence. Do you completely recognize the ability to both be with the presence of the illusion of the dream while also recognizing when somebody is suffering and helping? True simultaneity is fascinating, and it's for very advanced levels, the most advanced levels. And the absolute surrender to the effortless action that is unfolding is the highest. A complete, absolute surrender to the indescribable perfection that this already is, and just flowing with the dream, with the illusion, on the crest of the wave of that eternal present, where it's an effortless ability, again, to navigate. An effortless ability to navigate. When something with name is needed, not a problem. When something with time is needed, not a problem. When something with form is needed, not a problem. When something of helping somebody in suffering is needed, not a problem. When your ability to point out non-duality and the indescribable perfection of simply this, not a problem. Pointing out being agentless, no witness, no observer, nobody here doing anything, not a problem. Against true simultaneity. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Love to hear from you. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't, share the video with people that you know this would positively impact. I love you. Thank you. True simultaneity. Jedi-like effortless navigation.